So a couple episodes ago, one of my subscribers asked me, how do I afford all the hardware I use for my channel? I work 2 IT jobs at a university here in Wilmington, Delaware, and I also have a side job at a pawn shop in the suburbs of Philly as a PC repairman. But even with all those hours worked, it's still not enough money considering I have a tech YouTube channel and a hardware addiction. This stuff does get pretty expensive. So to make extra money, I buy and sell PCs, also known as flips. So that's what today's video is going to be all about, how to flip PCs for profit. As examples, I'm going to share with you guys all the details from my last 3 flips. I'm going to show you guys how I actually get the PCs, what I pay for them, the stock configuration, all the upgrades I put into it, and I'm also going to show you guys how to list your PC for sale online. PC Flipping 101 coming up next. Roll the intro. Guys, welcome back to Tech 215. I'm your host Nick, and today's video it is all about the flip. I have 3 PCs I recently sold, and I'm gonna break down all the details about them to teach you guys the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. Before we get started today, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I put videos out once a week, everything pertaining to PC budget tech, and also ring that bell so you get notified the second I drop a new video. I'd really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. I have 3 rules I live by when I flip PCs. And if you guys want to be successful and make the most amount of money, I suggest you follow these rules. Here goes. First rule, and this comes before any other rule, don't rip people off. Karma's a and I guarantee you, by selling faulty hardware or advertising fake benchmarks, it's only going to come back to bite you in the ass. Plus, it's just a really crappy thing to do. Most of the PCs I sell are to younger kids whose parents don't really have a lot of money, or they've been saving their allowance for the last 2 months, or raking leaves, shoveling snow, mowing the lawn. You get the point. And if you plan on doing this over the long haul, you'd be surprised how fast word travels. Be honest and establish a good reputation in your area. Rule number 2, discipline. For pre-built CPUs, graphics cards, anything, be firm on price. Remember, you want to build a solid system and make money. This system is not for you. You want to try to obtain the most powerful hardware for the cheapest price. Let me give you an example. If you're looking for an RX 580, find the current market value for that card and try to get it 15 to 25% less than the average selling price on eBay. If the seller passes, don't sweat it. You'll find another seller. And to piggyback that point, find motivated sellers. Oftentimes when new stuff comes out, hardware enthusiasts just want to ditch their old stuff and put it towards the latest and greatest. So oftentimes you can get those guys to sell, if not all their stuff in a lump sum, giving you the best possible deal. Rule number 3, find a good connect. For me, my main connect is Bo. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few episodes ago, a company called Redux Tech sponsored one of my videos. Well, the owner's name is Bo, and I have a really awesome connection with him. Since he recycles a ton of OEM pre-builds, he constantly has systems he wants to get rid of. And they're always great deals for me. Bo always calls me letting me know what he gets in stock. It's really good to have someone you can go to that's gonna give you really good deals on a consistent basis. Find a good connect. So now let's look at some examples of the last 3 PCs that I built and sold for profit. Okay, let's look at some examples of recent flips, and build number 1 is a perfect example of what you're not supposed to do. Buying all new parts. When buying all new parts, unless you're buying thousands of units, you're going to pay full retail, leaving you with 0 profit margins, unless you're overcharging or charging a build fee. If this build looks familiar, it should. I did an entry-level gaming, streaming, video editing rig for under $700 a couple weeks ago. If you guys want to check that video out, click the link above. So let's take a look at all the parts in this build real quick. First off, the case, a Fantex P300 for $60. For memory, we used a 16GB kit of G-Skill's Trident Z RGB. And finally, our GPU, the GTX 1660 for $250 about a year ago. I bought the Ryzen 5 1600AF brand new the day it came out for 85 bucks, along with the ORSB 450M motherboard back in February, also for 85 bucks. About a week before I started filming this video, I had no decent power supplies on hand, so I had to order a new Thermaltake Smart 500 watt PSU from Amazon for 47 bucks. I'm always picking up SSDs as I like to have them on hand for flips, so 120GB Inland Pro was only 21 bucks, brand new at Micro Center, and I put in a 1TB hard drive used for 10 bucks. Finally, I bought the white LED up here fans for 15 bucks and the custom sleeved orange cables for 21 bucks to spruce up the build. So keep this in mind, I got a year out of the case, RAM and GTX 1660, and I also used them in a few videos. The 1600AF and the motherboard I also got 4 months of use out of, and again some really great content for the channel. So the total cost of the build was 683 bucks. I sold it 2 days after I listed it on Facebook Marketplace for 700. Sure, I made a few bucks off it, but this is exactly what you want to avoid. Buying new, it's almost impossible to make any real money off. And since I was done using it, I got all the money back to reinvest in new hardware for the channel. Here's some quick benchmarks. As you can tell, this thing is an absolute great mid-range gaming PC that offers great price to performance and also doubles as a streaming and video editing rig. So now let's move on to build number 2, and this is what I would say is the right way to do it. I picked up this Lenovo M92P for 40 bucks. It came with no hard drives, no RAM, just a bare bones system. It features the i7-3770, which to this day is still a really capable gaming CPU. For me, RAM isn't an issue right now. I bought a mixed bag of RAM off Bo for 50 bucks a few months ago. It's got a ton of 2, 4, and 8GB sticks. These are the kinds of deals you need to find in order to make money flipping. This is one of those deals. So since this was for a friend, I put in 4 sticks of DDR3 1280, and for our graphics card, I picked up a GTX 1060 3GB got off Bo for 70 bucks. I tossed in a 120GB SSD and tossed in a 500GB hard drive I had laying around, but we'll call it 5 bucks. And also, I had to use a SATA 6/8 pin adapter that cost 7 bucks. So this build in total cost me 152 bucks. I sold this machine for 275, leaving us with a net profit of $123. These are the kinds of margins you want to have when buying and selling used PCs. This took me maybe an hour to put together even after installing Windows 10. So far after 2 builds, we're up 140 bucks. So now let's move on to the third and final build in this piece. And this build, like the first, should also look familiar. This is the Lenovo M93P small form factor. I made a video about this and the Dell Optiplex3020 a few weeks ago, so if you haven't seen it, the link is right above. So once again, I picked this machine up from Bo for 50 bucks. I actually bought 2 of these for 100. It features the 4th Gen i5 4570, which again is still a capable quad-core gaming PC in 2020. And if you want, you could upgrade to the i7 4770 down the road. But the buyer wanted this build for his daughter so she could play Fortnite, so we didn't need to build anything crazy. The build included no RAM, no hard drives, so I added 2 4GB sticks. Again, it didn't cost me hardly anything, but if you want, we'll chalk it up to 10 bucks. And once again popped in a 120GB SSD, this time my absolute favorite and go-to, the Crucial BX500, which cost me about 22 bucks from Micro Center. Since this is a small form factor build, I had to use a low profile card. So I used the GTX 750 Ti, which I bought about a year and a half ago for 45 bucks off Letgo. And geez, I've gotten so much use out of this card and so much content as well. I think this is the 3rd time this card is making an appearance in one of my videos. But the total cost of the build was 125. I flipped and sold the build for 225, making another easy 100. So total net profit after 3 builds, $240. Alright guys, so now it's time for the final step, listing your PC online. And for me, I like to use Facebook Marketplace and Letgo, and for several reasons. Number 1, so the seller can test the system. I always like to make sure the seller actually tests the system so they can know exactly what to expect. I always leave Unigent Heaven and a couple games on there so they can try it out right in front of me. Number 2, when selling entire systems, I hate shipping them out. So much can go wrong when shipping a system. It can break during shipping. When the seller gets it, they can actually say something broke, which they broke themselves, or they'll return the system because it's not what they expected, or they could steal something. And then when they ship the system back to you, you do not know how well they're gonna pack up the system. And guess what? You're gonna get stuck with the bill. So when selling entire systems, stay local. Facebook Marketplace and Letgo work the best for me. When listing your system for sale, take tons of pictures. The more, the better. When it comes to listing the specs, list everything. This is a Ryzen 5 1600AF. It has 6 cores, 12 threads, 3.2 GHz base clock, 3.6 GHz overclock. You get my point. The more detail, the better. This way you don't have to answer a million questions. The seller can just look at the ad and have the answer for himself. Another great tip is to run some benchmarks using MSI Afterburner and then list the actual benchmarks somewhere in the ad. I like to put them right at the bottom underneath the specs. This way, the buyer knows exactly what to expect in certain games. Because one of the most annoying things about selling systems is when you sell a system and you tell a person exactly what's in it and they think it's better than it actually is. This way they know exactly what to expect. And finally, my last point, and you guys don't have to do this, this is something I personally do, is I offer some sort of guarantee. I always offer 90 days free tech support, parts as is. Now, if something breaks relatively soon, like I sell a system and the video card goes within a week, I will always replace it for the customer. It's always a really good idea to offer some sort of assurance and guarantee so that the buyer feels safe and knows they're getting a good product. It is really important, if you guys are gonna do this over the long haul, to establish a really good reputation in your area. But that about does it for me today, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This video should have been out a week ago, but I have been so busy with side jobs, homework, everything. It's just been absolutely crazy. We just hit 500 subs on the channel. I'm really excited. You guys are the absolute best. I so appreciate the support. And check out my Amazon affiliate links in the bottom. It really helps out the channel and it does not cost you anything extra. Thanks again for watching. Remember, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you guys want me to do more videos like this, where maybe once a month I come on and I show you guys the systems I built and sold, let me know down in the comments and I will gladly do another one of these videos. But guys, thanks so much for all the support of late. I should be back in about a week with more tech content. Peace.